I just want to address something that's not been talked about that much, but is affecting some people in ways more than we realise. The last 2 years have been stressful to say the least, but the world is still turning after a health crisis that globally shook daily life in previously unthinkable ways. And as another long COVID winter is at an end, there is definitely light at the end of the anxiety-ridden tunnel. Most drivers I speak to are breathing just a little bit easier. Then, on February the 24th, Russia invaded Ukraine. And for many, feelings of guilt and uncertainty came rushing back.
Okay, hold on.
If since the start of the war in Ukraine, you have been feeling a rising up of worry, sadness, anger, hopelessness, or even a combination of any of those feelings, then rest assured you are not alone. Yes, we expect major world events to affect us, but this event has been especially impactful for people all over the world. To start, we like things to make sense, don't we? We grow up learning that doing bad things come with punishment and doing good things come with praise. And then many of us eventually realise that the world doesn't work like that, does it? That realisation can be shattering, particularly when the senselessness is profound. And as cabbies, we often see ourselves as a collective, but it is a collective made up of unique individuals from many walks of life.
Everyone has something that makes them unique.
For some, the war in Ukraine is a distant worry, but for others, it is terrifying. And I often talk to drivers who are struggling to wrap their minds around the concept that one country can just walk violently into another country and try to take it over. This type of lawlessness feels unjust, and it leaves people feeling like anything can happen. And that can be extremely terrifying.
I saw the flames in my nightmare.
After all, it's not only a political and diplomatic injustice, it's a humanitarian crisis also. We are hearing about and seeing photos of civilians, including children, being injured and killed. We are seeing photos of the millions of people displaced from their homes. We continue to hear about the failure to let people safely evacuate war-torn cities. The scope of the suffering has already been massive, leaving many of us feeling as though there is nothing significant enough we can do to help. And this sense of helplessness stirs up feelings of hopelessness and guilt. What's happening in Ukraine would be difficult to stomach any time. But coming off 2 years of the disruption of a global pandemic and uncertainty about the future means many of us were already feeling fatigued from the emotional, physical and financial challenges of the pandemic. And this level of uncertainty can be deeply challenging to cope with. If this doesn't apply to you, then that's okay. But if you feel life has quickly become even more stressful and expensive, then you cannot let these unsettling feelings overwhelm you. It is important for us to realise when we are feeling bad because the situation is bad. It's natural to expect that you might feel sad or angry about what is happening, but it is really important that you do not hide these feelings and that you reach out and talk to someone about them. You might not feel like it at first, but sharing how you feel or encouraging others to share how they feel is a healthy human response. And often the best way to cope with these feelings is simply to talk about them.
So let's just do this.
This won't make your feelings instantly go away. Nobody is saying that. But by not resisting our negative feelings, we can move on from them and make room for other positive feelings to come up. Ignore them, and those negative feelings build up and become more and more distressing. Remember, you are not alone, and it would be more unusual if what is happening in Ukraine didn't affect us. But it is for us also to reconcile with the fact that bad things happen in this world. There is very little we can do about it, and being consumed by worry is not helping anyone, least of all ourselves. If you are feeling overwhelmed or that you cannot cope, I will leave a couple of links below, and I will also leave a link for you to get involved with humanitarian aid if that's what you feel like you want to do. But don't suffer in silence. Reach out, talk to someone. Thank you, and once again for taking the time to listen, and I look forward to seeing you out on the mean street.